Hey, welcome everybody. I'm glad you stopped in for a moment to the YouTube channel. This is where Success Life meets sort of the business side of what we do. So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, mompreneurs, call them what you wantpreneurs, people that are building businesses, building dreams, changing lives, and they use vehicles like Facebook to get their message across. And so we talked a little bit last video, if you look back, about Facebook fan pages versus group pages versus personal or private pages. But one of the things that I want to sort of go into just really briefly, we're not going to get into the whole matrix and analogs and all of that of Facebook, is that when Facebook, so if you're creating content, and we should always be creating content. We should never really stop creating content. In fact, there's probably a million opportunities a day for you to pull something down and turn it into content that your clients or your business partners or those people you seek to serve and connect with would find of value. So we should always be in content creation. Woo, that's a tricky one. But what I want to talk about is I see people using cross-content posting. So they may use an app like PageMundo or Hootsuite or some of the other compilers like Zapper and all of those to create their content and then distribute across multiple platforms. Sort of like I bake it and I get it done and then I send it out to everybody. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely great, is broadcast your content to as many different people as you can. But remember that each place of content has a different audience. For instance, when I go to a Chinese restaurant, I don't expect Mexican food. And when I go to a Mexican food restaurant, I don't expect opera singing chefs with Italian cuisine. When I tune into YouTube, I'm expecting a different type of content than I'm expecting when I go into Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or Twitter or Vimeo or all of the other social media places out there. The audience that you're talking to is not the same in each different place. For instance, when you do a Facebook Live, you're basically interrupting somebody. You're stepping in the middle of their day, unless it's a scheduled watch party or something like that, and saying, hey, I've got something to share with you, teach with you, talk to you about, boom. So the conversation is very much like you getting a call from your neighbor saying, hey, you got a minute, I want to talk to you. That content and that value is different than if somebody comes to your YouTube channel and hits the subscribe, watch, look button. When I'm going on YouTube or now with Facebook TV and some of the Instagram TV shows, I go there with the intent to learn, watch, and study that person. I've set aside time in my day and in my thinking to go connect to that person more intentionally than I sometimes do with Facebook Live or even Facebook replay videos. So be cautious about your content. Create it, but don't distribute it so widely that you're losing your audience, because Instagram is not the place to watch a 20-minute video. It doesn't allow for it, but the message is different. Pinterest, I joke that we have Pinterest parents. You know, they've got the little chalkboards out in front of the school right now with the kid's name and number and grade and all of that kind of stuff. There's a Pinterest mentality. People go to Pinterest for one thing. People go to Instagram for another thing. People go to YouTube for a different thing. And people go to Facebook Live and all the different social media. So when you think of your product or your business or your personality or your influence that you're trying to create, think more about the audience that's receiving it than about how you're going to distribute it first. So I do a radio show, and when I'm on the radio show, it's a different personality, though the message is still the same. So again, I wanted to caution some people because I'm seeing this done a lot where they'll create one kind of content or one piece of content and then they just broadcast it across to each person in each social media network the same format without ever taking into consideration who the audience is and how it should be received. So slow down a little bit. Understand that Facebook Live is Facebook Live and YouTube is YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and all of those have different audiences, different clients, different voices, different messages to be received. Make sure you're manicuring and creating your content based on the recipient's position, not based on the position that you want them to get into. Got that? Make sure you're understanding where the the viewer is, the watcher, the buyer, the client is, not where you want to move them to. Because you will lose them, you will disconnect, you will become that static noise that so often takes over social media. And we've all seen it, we've all got that one friend that after a while it's like, oh my gosh, I can't stand it, click, off, gone. You don't want to become that person, all right? So that's number one. The second thing I wanted to jump in and sort of caution and talk about is a little bit about the analytics. And I'm not going to be the guy that talks about all of the SEO and EEO and BEO and all those words. I don't fully get it. Nobody fully does. They're always changing. They're always altering. But what I will tell you is when you take content and use one of those like Hootsuite apps or PageMundo apps or other content delivery services and push it towards Facebook, Facebook recognizes it, Facebook gives it its place in your newsfeed, etc. But it doesn't rank as high as natively produced content. And what I mean by that is, if I record this video and then I download it and then I share it up to Facebook, it'll say, oh, nice video, good job, Eric. But if I produce this video within Facebook Live or Facebook or TV or whatever vehicle, YouTube Live, YouTube, etc., and I produce it within that product and then lift it into or leave it in that product, it will get higher ranking. Why? Come on. Do we really have to explain it? Facebook wants you to spend as much time on Facebook as it can possibly do, because everything around Facebook is about the building and marketing of Facebook so they can sell more marketing and advertising space to other Facebook users and companies and businesses as well. So if you're allowed to create content outside of Facebook and push it towards Facebook and receive the same value as somebody who spent the time inside of Facebook creating the content, that defeats the purpose. So take time and think, okay, you know what? I've got to set aside 5 minutes, 10 minutes to do the Facebook thing. I've got to set a time to do the Instagram, set aside time to do the Twitter, do some YouTube. You can mix and match it. I'm not saying everything has to be done solely within the product, but don't underestimate the importance of doing it within the product, doing a Facebook Live, doing a YouTube, doing an Instagram, Twitter, PageMundo, like all of those other things. Don't underestimate it. So one, make sure you're not just blasting your content across the universe to the same content to multiple users. It doesn't work, people. It doesn't work. You may get some traction, but over a while, people will get bored. Each place has a unique set of behaviors, so to speak. I mean, there is a culture around each of the different apps, each of the different social media communities, whatever you want to call it. That's why they exist. That's why people say, oh, I love Instagram, but I hate Pinterest. Or I hate Pinterest and I love Instagram. Or I'm all about Facebook Live, but never YouTube Live. Or Google Plus and this. That's why they exist, because different communities have different messages, different ways of speaking, different ways of behaving. Make sure you understand that as you develop your voice in those communities. And be willing to talk into those communities appropriately. And two, make sure that you're creating content in those communities and not just broadcasting into the community using the same content tool, because you'll be respected in that community for the content that you create within that community, and you'll be ranked higher by those services like Facebook, like YouTube, like Google Plus, like et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, you got it? So as you begin to build your business, and it's natural to go into social media, it's required more than anything to go into social media in this day and age of entrepreneurship and business building. Be aware of the tools, be aware of the game. And that's what I'm going to continue to do through this channel here on YouTube, is talk about building businesses, building social media, building sustainable entrepreneur, solopreneurship kind of businesses. You know, if you want to catch me on Facebook Live in the morning, that voice is more about mindset and transformational thinking and challenge thinking. This might be a little more practical. The radio show more is about the journey of it. You see, I'm living what I'm telling. Different messages, different mediums, all the same end result. All right, I appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you're going through. I'd love to be able to help you and guide you as best I can. And if you've got a question, I'm sure somebody else has a question, and I'll do my best to answer it along the way. But I wanted to just take a moment, pop in, share that with you, let you know what's going on. I'm seeing the mistake being made over and over again. want to make sure you're not one of the mistake makers. All right, so hit the subscribe button. Follow me over on Facebook for our Success Coaching Live every morning. Find the iTunes channel, Success Life, and listen in on that if you care to. Again, my name is Eric Reed. This is Success Life, and I'm glad you were a part of it. Bye-bye.